Ezekkiel's Bible Worship. So today we're going to be reading from 3 Bible verses, and the 3 Bible verses are Mark chapter 16 verse 15, Psalm chapter 119 verse 2, and Psalm chapter 23 verse 6. And let's get right into it. Mark chapter 16 verse 15. And it says, "And he said to them, Go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature." Amen. The meaning of this Bible verse is that we should preach the word of the gospel to all the creatures of this world. Second, this is telling us that instead of prepping our makeup, instead of going to your friend's house or etc. or this or that, you should preach the word of the gospel to those people, to the people of this world, not to just Christians, but to those who don't know anything about Jesus, God, the scriptures, the testimonies, and everything that has been given to us in this world, the creator of this earth, or any of that. Lastly, this can be done in many type of ways of preaching the word of the gospel. You can do it by singing a song to multiple people, because singing is another way of preaching, but it's just in a different type of way of speaking, and like you have to different vocals and preparations and all that stuff and all that type of stuff. And also you can do YouTube and TikTok or any other type of social media, platform that you can film and record videos on and just preach the word of the gospel, even if it's like 15 seconds, 20 seconds. Do something that is visible of the preaching of God. And to finish it off, just always remember to preach the word of the gospel no matter what, because preaching could expand your house in heaven that God has ahead of you in your life. So right now you could be doing the most rudest stuff. You can be killing people. You could be in jail right now doing bad stuff and etc. But if you preach the word of the gospel and you ask for forgiveness and etc., your house in heaven that God has for you will be built bigger and bigger. And when the day comes, if you did all that good stuff and you were a good person in general, you'll go up to heaven and you will see the beautiful house that you've created from your hard work and your accomplishments that you have received from following God and preaching the word of the gospel to those who don't know anything, and bringing new people into following God and doing His work. Time to go to our second Bible verse, which is sorry, I'm trying to flip to the page. Okay. Psalm chapter 119 verse 2. And it says, "Blessed are those who keep His testimonies, and who keep His testimonies, who seek Him with their whole heart." Amen. And the meaning of this Bible verse, this means that the way of being blessed, this means that the only people who get blessed by God are those who keep His testimonies and seek Him with their full heart. Second, this is very important, because if you don't seek Him with your full heart, you will get taken up and swallowed by the demon's presence, which could be makeup, relationships, fornication, murder, etc. Also, if you don't keep His testimonies, how can those testimonies that were given to people in AD and BC, if you don't even believe that those testimonies were given to those people? So if you don't believe in in those testimonies, there's no way that you can actually receive those testimonies that were given by that was said by God, given to those people in the past. Lastly, there is a lot of other things that you have to do to be blessed by God, but this is one of the reasons. This is one of the ways of how to get blessed by God. I know that other people, they're in different places, they're in different situations, they're in different scenarios, but everybody, if they do the right things, it will all lead up to a greater life, a greater world, in a greater life in their way. So just continue on worshiping God and overcoming the challenges that are ahead of you, that are given to you in the future. Amen. And our last but not least Bible verse that we'll be reading from today is Psalm 23, verse 6. And it says, verse 5. I was mistaken. I read that incorrectly. Verse 5, and it says, "You prepare your table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runs over." Amen. This shows the transactions being done by Christians while preparing for God. Second, it says, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." This could show, for an example of preparing a table, could be an example of an accomplishment set up by God while your enemies are trying to stop you from achieving that accomplishment. And also it says, "You anoint my head with oil, my cup runs over it." It gives an example of God and his cover and protect and his protection around us, even though our enemies are trying to reach us, to stop us from receiving that accomplishment that God has in store for us. Lastly, the reason why I chose that example of the accomplishment, about the accomplishment, and your enemies are trying to stop you from receiving that, is because it will show that even if you're dealing with something that is very terrifying, that is very dangerous, that God will still be covering you if you believe that He will be covering you. Because God, He talks to all of us. He watches over all of us. He makes sure that all of us are protected and loved with all of His heart. And He will always continue on to protect us, even though our enemies are right there in the presence around us, trying to stop us, trying to stop us in our tracks, trying to make us be unsuccessful, trying to make us do all these other types of things. So just always remember that God will always be there to protect us, no matter what is going on, no matter what time it is, no matter what day it is, no matter what day of the week it is, no matter what month it is, no matter what year it is, no matter what, He will be there. And those were the 3 Bible verses that I had in store for you guys today. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe. It does not cost you anything. And also, if you want to communicate with me in any type of way, I will link my account down in the description, so you can text me if you have any problems, if you need a person to talk to, if you're dealing with suicidal thoughts, etc. If you want to come closer to God, if you want God to hear your thoughts, if you want God to help you with the struggles that you're going with, you can text me down in the account that I'll link down in the description. And also, go check out my friend. I linked his account down in the description. He posts rarely, mostly on Mondays, and If there's something going up, he will post still. Go check him out. I mean, some of his videos, you can probably see me there singing and dancing, preaching the word of the gospel. And always forget, you can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. Have a great night, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, and just have a great day. Goodbye.